Hey, everybody. This is Surviving Darkness with Heather and Jenny, and we are back. We are on episode 60, but we're saying that this is season two because we feel like we are in a new season with this podcast.
We had to take a short break, just different scheduling issues, physical things going
Vacations,
on.
yeah, things.
Yeah, and I feel like we have evolved during that time. And like I've been doing some studying with like more of the spiritual warfare stuff. And I feel like God's really wanting me to pour into that kind of stuff. And just we've just I don't know. Different things have happened. Like my dreams have gotten even crazier, and I just feel like God is showing me different things that I need to be dealing with, and different ways to deal with things. And I don't just things have changed in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like Jenny said, it our lives feel like it's a new season.
And that this is going to be different, the same, but different
Right.
than what it was,
Right.
So
It sort of felt like we were in this rut where we were just like sort of expanding on this and expanding on that and just repeating some stuff here and there. And I just feel like this is going to be more fresh,
hmm
more original.
So while we were getting everything ready, we were talking like we do for a couple hours. And the last thing that we said before we actually were like, okay, let's get started, was talking about how generations, not with but the generations before us, but not just with our family, just in general, you kind of swept everything under the rug. You didn't look at anything. If it was out of sight and out of mind, it wasn't there.
Right.
Things happen, and they happen in so many other families too, everywhere, not just
Yes.
ours, but everywhere around the world,
Don't
that
talk about it. It didn't happen.
yes, exactly. And there's so many people, even like people that we know, that are like, no, I'm not living in that anymore. And my family's not going to be like that. And that's kind of how we are too.
I've had to go like on longer trips to doctor's appointments with our mom. And it's so hard sometimes, not saying just listening to her, but the mentality of that generation.
Mm-hmm.
It was like you knew that your husband wasn't good to you. You knew that he was doing this and doing that, but you just didn't get divorced. I'm like, what? It's like it was like one of those things. You just put up with everything because you're not going to get divorced.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really? And like she was talking about like one instance where she knew that dad had cheated. And she said, and I just told him, I don't know if I can get past this. But she wasn't going to leave.
Uh-huh.
And I told her, I said, all the stuff that I put up with, how I was talked to and how I was treated. I said, that was the final straw for me when I saw with my own eyeballs that he wasn't leaving his ex-wife alone.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I was done. I
Mm-hmm.
said, that was it. I was done. I'm not sharing. I'm not going and I'm working and paying for the food, the bills, and everything else while he does nothing but talk to his ex-wife. I was like, I was done. And I don't understand the mentality of staying just to be staying.
But it was different then.
That's
You have kids, you married, and you're supposed to stay married forever, but there are circumstances that you are permitted from God to be able to leave also,
right.
If you haven't done that stuff, then you're allowed to leave.
I have a hard time comprehending the mindset, period.
But it was also, we had college degrees. We had things that we were able to be on our own. And
That's true.
not that it was easy financially. No, it wasn't easy. Not by any means, And
Right.
if I wasn't able to move back in with mom and dad, then I don't know if I would have left. I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
I would have done something, because I
Yeah.
was like you, that was the final thing when it was right in my face, and I was like, "You know what? I wasn't consistently working all the time because I wasn't physically able to, but I
Mhm.
had short-term disability coming in,
Mhm.
and that money was still more than he was making, at
Right.
his regular job, and I was still being talked down to, like I said,
Yeah.
he him saying, "All you do is sleep." Well, I had a back injury. I was on a bunch of medication, and and then I put on weight because I wasn't able to do much of anything. Literally, wasn't able to do much of anything.
Right.
I didn't even leave the house much because I
Right.
hurt so
Right.
bad, and I didn't sleep at night and everything like that. But it was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care what comes along. I will be okay.
Right.
And they didn't have that mentality.
And
And I'm
that's
not putting
hard.
them down. It's just so
No.
different.
And that's hard. That's hard for me to comprehend.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like it was almost like you yourself didn't matter.
Hmm.
I will put up with whatever I have to put up with as long as this marriage and family stays together.
Hmm.
And I'm like, when do you matter and when do you not lose your identity? When is that okay to be like, I'm not doing this
And I think that that's why she is dealing with so much
now.
now, because she wasn't able to process and deal with it when he was here.
And some of the comments, like if I would have known that he was like that, I would have left a long time ago. You did know.
Mhm,
You just ignored.
mhm,
You knew. I mean, the way he talked to you,
mhm.
the what he was doing, going out all the time. You heard the things that were going on, and then you acknowledged, yeah, I knew that was happening, but I just didn't want to address it.
Mhm,
It's not a, and it's not a, if I knew, you did know.
mhm.
If you had the strength,
Right.
I would have left a long time ago because the knowledge was there.
And we
You,
had talked about that in a previous episode too, that we felt like because she said she didn't have, she couldn't support us,
yeah,
but she was the only one that worked and did support a whole family.
right.
And she would have had outside, like her mom or her grandmother would have supported that.
The things that get me though is, I'm sure she's talked to you about them too. Some of the things that she said is he would try to make her have sex with other men.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, "Well, I'm the only man you've ever been with, so you don't know what it's like being with another man."
Mhm.
And she didn't get the idea that this is screwed up.
Right.
That's not normal.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And she just was like, "I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
It's just that simple. I'm just not doing that." But it never clicked in that this is abnormal.
Right.
This is crazy.
Mhm.
And just talking to her, like going to these appointments, and I'm not trying to put her down, but it just, she didn't see that.
But think about how much that happens even now.
Yeah. I mean, they have open
Yeah.
relationships. They
And
have swaps, whatever you want to call
yeah,
it. And it's not, it's
it's just people now and in the way of the world, like it doesn't matter
anything's
as much now. Yeah,
acceptable.
yeah,
Then it wasn't
exactly.
acceptable.
Yes. Mhm.
But just the fact that you would say, but then, and then accuse her of cheating all the time, knowing that she wouldn't voluntarily do it for him or with someone else,
Mhm.
but then accuse of cheating.
Yeah.
I was like, the accuser's usually the doer.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, some things that they just blow my mind. I'm like,
And now with her mentality too, there's things that she'll say that have happened, and when we look at her and we're like, that's just crazy jacked up.
yeah,
She'll look at us like, "Why would you say that?" You know? And it's, for one, it's just what how she is mentally now because she has issues now, but because she lived it for so long, it was like, "What do you
it
mean
was a
that was
norm.
just messed up?"
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was a norm.
yeah,
It,
and that's what we were saying, like, our cousin that was in prison and went through a lot of things, you know, things happened to him, and therefore he did things to people, and that's why he's in prison.
Right.
But he chose to stand up and say, "Listen, I did this." Yes, and instead of making the victims go through trial and everything like that, and he could have taken a little plea deal for something minimal. He was like, "No." He said, "I don't want to do that." And he said prison was probably the best thing for me because he did get counseling and help and everything like that in prison that he did not have when he was out.
Right.
And so he was so mean and in trouble all the time growing up. It was just, oh, he's nothing. He's just trouble all the time. And that's what we were saying. It wasn't, listen, dude, what is going on with you? Like, why are you doing this? Like it would be, could be now,
Mhm.
because we're aware of things
Mhm.
now.
Right.
And, if their personality change, your kids, mine, all of a sudden, or just being like, hey, what is making you do all of this? Then things maybe could have come to light then,
Right. Right.
and helped out. But it wasn't like that. It was just basically, well, we're just going to let him do his thing. He's going to be in trouble. He's going to end up in jail. Period. It doesn't matter. And no one ever thought it would be for what it was. But at the same time, because he did end up in jail for what he did, because nothing was addressed.
Right.
It was ignored, and that's how things
Their
were.
way of dealing with stuff like that is we'll just beat it out of them.
Yeah, and
It don't work.
no, it does not work like
That just
that.
makes them a little meaner
Mhm.
and feel like they can't express anything because when they express it in their anger and in their outbursts, they get in trouble for it
Yeah.
anyway.
Mhm.
So it's almost like they feel like they can't express it at all.
Mhm.
So no, beating it out of somebody don't help. I mean, there's times that, I think a good butt whooping's good.
Right, yeah, yes, and sometimes we
But
all need it,
yeah, but I think that you eventually have to see that there's an issue.
Mhm.
And they didn't. And a lot of it is because of what was going on within the home.
Yes, like we've
Like,
said before.
yes,
Mhm.
that like with our mom and dad, there was always such friction and she was always on edge because, he would be out drinking. What's he gonna be like when he comes home?
Mhm.
He's doing this and so worried about all that he's doing and the money he's spending and how the bills ain't gonna get paid because he's out drinking and she's full and all of that. So focused on the marriage part that the kid stuff sort of gets ignored
And with their
and not
parents, they
noticed.
were back and forth all the time, and then when they would split up, they'd both parents would be with other people, and then they get back together, and there was no stability there. And I loved, his parents,
Right.
their parents, absolutely loved them. They were like second parents to us,
Right.
But I mean, it's the truth.
It
It,
is.
it, it just is what it is,
It's like there's a
and
constant fight within them. And it's not I'm not saying that they're selfish and all of that, but it was such a battle trying to keep the marriage together that everything else fell by the wayside.
mhm, mhm.
And yeah, and like I'm saying, it's not that they're intentionally being neglectful, but they're so focused on this marriage that everything else is like in the background.
Instead of kind of being like, listen, this marriage ain't working. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, let's go our separate ways and focus on our kids together,
right,
and then, you know, do what we have to do on our own,
right,
but, make sure our kids are the focus. That just
right.
wasn't. And
There,
it
yeah.
wasn't for
What was going
numerous
on? Right.
generations.
What was going on with them was actually affecting the kids
Mhm.
more than what they realized.
Mhm.
But they couldn't see it because they're so hyper focused on that.
Right. Mhm.
That was the main priority at that point.
And that's what we were saying is, Jesse had said ignorance is bliss, and Heather said until it's not, until you realize just how jacked up everything was,
And we
and looking
didn't.
back on things.
We didn't realize, and that's that too. We did not realize how dysfunctional our life was and how jacked up from the floor up it was until we were out.
And until we started being like, this will not happen and carry on.
Mhm.
And so we need to address everything that's happened before,
Mhm.
stop everything that's happened before so it doesn't carry
But
on.
look at how many years it took of us being out of that situation to get the confidence and to get the reassurance in ourselves that it wasn't our fault
Hmm.
because for so many years and that we weren't dirty.
Yeah.
And I mean, I will be the first to tell you, I still have issues.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There are
Yes.
times that things are said or things are done, even with my own husband, and I'm like, I can't. I have a hard time separating.
Hmm.
This is my husband, but it flashes back to things that have happened before, and
Hmm.
I'm like, just don't touch it. Just don't. And then I feel bad because it's so hard for me to explain
Yeah.
to him why I reacted that way or felt that way
Hmm.
because it was almost like a flashback of the things that we had gone through before. So, I mean, years, years of being out of it, and it still affects our daily life.
There was something that my husband said the other day, and it was, I can't remember what it was. And it was nothing. And it was like a regular conversation. And I wish I could remember what it was. Maybe it'll come to me. But I remember saying to him, I cannot do that. I can't because of I said, because of things, I can't do that. And it was nothing like,
Right,
it wasn't anything sexual. It wasn't
right.
anything like that because we were in the living room with our little one, and it wasn't anything like that. I can't remember what it was,
I
but there
remember you
was,
talking to me about it, but I don't remember what it was either.
yeah. And I just said, I can't, I just can't do that. And
I
it,
think you talked to me about it like out, outside or at your house, or something. But you did talk to me about it. But for the life of me, I can't think.
yeah, and it wasn't anything major, but the
No,
way that my mind went, like you're saying, was like, no, that's a hard no for me. And you guys can do that, whatever it was, you guys can do that, but I cannot do that, you
right.
know?
And then like this would probably sound strange to everybody else, but one of the things that I've been battling for probably the last few weeks is I had a dream and I was taking a bath and a family member came in to the bathroom and I was like, Mom's in the living room. And this family member was like, I know. I'm like, you can't be in here. I'm taking a bath. I know exactly what you're doing. And I'm like, you need to leave. I'm not going nowhere. There's nothing you can do about it
Mm.
in this dream. And then, like, the next day, my husband was like texting stuff and it was out of character.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't the norm for him. So my mind automatically is it's a demonic attack.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm having this dream and then my husband's acting different.
Yeah.
And it bothers me. I was like, I felt weird. I felt just weird.
Uh-huh.
And I shouldn't, my husband shouldn't be able to say anything, tickle me,
Yeah.
whatever, without me feeling uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt uncomfortable because of the timing of the dream. And then the next day, it was him saying stuff that he normally didn't
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
And I was like, who are you?
Yeah.
And I think I even text that, who are you? And he was like, what do you mean? I said, this ain't your normal you.
Uh-huh.
I was like, there's something just, I don't like this.
Right.
I don't like this feeling. I don't like this. I want you to be you because that's what I feel in love with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this,
Right. Mm-hmm.
but I don't know how to talk about it and say
Mm-hmm.
this is why I don't like this.
Right.
And it has really bothered me. I'm like, I just try to ignore like little comments or different things, and they're not anything that he's trying to say to hurt me in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
But I'm just like, this isn't this isn't who you are.
Right.
Where is this coming from? I'm like, is this really you talking?
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm like, this ain't the kind of conversations and stuff that you would say before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's a struggle.
Right.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
real struggle because I'm like, what's happened? What happened overnight
Right. Mm-hmm.
with that dream and then with that too? And then that relative I see and I can't be comfortable. It was a dream,
Right.
but I have a hard time being comfortable because I was very uncomfortable in my dream.
Mm-hmm.
and you can't. I don't
Sometimes
know,
it's hard to make your mind differentiate between
reality and
yeah,
yeah, because you're like, they didn't really do that, but it was so real in your dream that you're like, hmm, just give me time to get over that dream
mhm,
before I see you. But it's because of the things that
mhm.
we've dealt with before. We're skeptical when things change and people change. We're like,
Yeah, like you say, like, what
are
is
you being
this?
influenced
Is
by something?
exactly,
Did,
yes.
are you in there?
Mhm.
Is that you in there? Or is there something else that's decided it's going to step in too?
Right. Mhm,
And that's scary
mhm.
because I don't want anything that's going to cause and I feel like that's what the enemy's trying to do is cause a separation.
Right, and that's what they do, yeah,
And try to break up the family because the family is the strongest unit.
mhm.
And I feel like it's trying to put that wall there. So I'm battling this wall and still trying to say he's not doing anything bad. He's not doing anything wrong.
Right.
It's me. It's me. It's how I'm allowing the enemy to influence how I'm receiving it.
I was I guess I'm kinda changing the subject, but I was at church one night, and one of the ladies there, she and I are close, you know what I mean? Like, uh okay, so let me just say this. It the talk to everybody. I'm try to be nice to everybody, everything like that, but it takes me a little bit to actually talk a lot to people, you know? And church is one of those places where I love everybody. We have a great church, and I talk to people, but I don't really talk to people, you know, like, and she said something about somebody, and she was like, a lot of people probably think she's kind of snotty, but she holds off a little bit before she talks to a lot of people. And I just said, a lot of people probably think that about me because I do say hey to everybody and all that, but when it's actually there's a lot of people, I don't talk
No.
a lot because I have to get to know you more. And I've always been like outgoing and talking to everybody, but at the same time, when it comes to more, I guess, like in depth conversations or whatever, and I'm not around those people every day, all day
Yeah.
long at church, I mean, we see them a lot, but a lot of times at church functions, everybody's so busy that you
Right.
still have your group of people that you're around and you talk to and everything like that. And you don't get to talk to all of those people. And I noticed that since I said that, she has talked to me more.
Yeah.
And I wasn't saying that for her, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
for her, and I don't even know if she thought that of me. I
Right.
don't know.
Right.
But I do know that she has talked to me quite a bit more. And maybe that was, her, maybe she was like, well, that makes sense. Maybe that
Yeah.
in her mind about me, and maybe,
You're outgoing on a cordial level, but not so much on a personal
right.
level.
Yeah. Yes. And I think that that's what I was trying to tell her. I said, well, that's what people probably think about me is I might be snotty, but I'm not. I just, uh, when you go through a lot, yeah, like you say, cordially, I'm nice to everybody and talk to everybody. And it's easy for me to just talk to everybody. But then there's very few people that, if I'm one on one with you, that I'm comfortable enough to start talking to you about, anything other than just,
The
hey,
weather.
how's the weather? Or,
Right.
things like that. I just don't.
Right.
So, and automatically it made me think, I wonder what that lady's been through, and I didn't
Right.
know who even she was talking about. I didn't know her,
Right. Right.
and but that made me think, hmm, I wonder if she has a past,
Right.
or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we
And
don't know what people have gone through
mm-mm,
and why they're the way they are,
mm-mm,
but we still judge. That's what's bad.
mm-hmm,
We get our opinions about people, not really knowing who they are and what they're really about.
mm-hmm. And you said something that made me think too, like at church today, you had said, as we've gotten older, or we've been out of the circumstances more, that we're able to look at things differently, basically, and our sermon at church today was, who are you and where are you? And there was several points, but the one point that stuck with me was, it doesn't matter what your past is, what you have done, or what has been done to you. Don't let that hinder your walk with God, for one.
Mhm.
And I know that, but also your future. Don't let that past, don't let that keep you from moving forward in the future. It's what I
Mhm.
took from it too. And I was like, that's something that I really have had to work on the last, I'd say 10 years or so, is moving forward, forgiving, moving forward, not always forgetting. You can't,
Mhm.
you can't always forget. There are
Right.
days that I can't forgive, I
Right.
mean, I try to the majority of the time,
Right.
and I like to feel like I have, but then there are days when I'm like, I can't stand that person. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get over it,
Right. Right.
And I feel bad about
Right.
that, but it is what it is,
Right.
And
I
so,
understand. I deal with that too.
mhm,
I'm like, I'm not supposed to be like that.
yeah,
You're not supposed to be like that. You're not supposed, as a Christian, you're not supposed to be unforgiving. You're not supposed to be. And then I'm like, but this situation, God, this is different.
yeah, yeah, and you do want to
You
do
know what
that.
they did to me. It's
Yes.
different, but it's not. It's not any different than anybody else's situation.
Mhm.
But it is. Sometimes it is hard to be like, yeah, I gotta get past it. Because today you could be past it, tomorrow you can be mad.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel bad for that some days, but I can't help it.
I was thinking here just in the last few days of how much my personality has changed from 15, 20 years ago to now, and how judgmental I was. But that's what we were raised
We were.
in. It was constant. Look what that girl's doing,
Mhm.
and this, that, and the other. It was always negativity around people, and it was almost like our validation and stuff was pointing that stuff out.
Mhm.
Look at what she's doing. Look at how she acts.
And now you and I both are like, so
What it?
what? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't care what they're doing. It
Right.
has no effect on me.
Right.
No, I wouldn't do what they do,
But then we
but
also have the compassion of wonder what they went through for them to
mhm.
be to 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 be like that or to do that.
Mhm.
And I mean, I just feel like I've changed a lot, and I was carrying so much anger, and it showed. It showed with my conversations with people.
Mhm.
It showed with everything because I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm just get out of my face because I don't really care.
And that's something, speaking, I guess, of new seasons, you know. I just had this conversation with one of my patients the other day. She works for a company that takes care of special needs people and things like that. And we were talking about truly caring about people, whether, they have mental disabilities, mental illnesses, things like that. You still see that person and taking care of that person. And just having more sympathy
Mhm,
too.
mhm,
And then also realizing, and this is, for me, and my husband helps me with this, realizing too that it really is okay to keep your distance from people.
mhm,
Just because you aren't you choose not to be around them and the circumstances that they always put themselves in and put you in or whatever, doesn't mean you don't have to that you can't pray for them. You can't care for them. You can't want them to be better.
Mhm.
It just means that because
You don't have to put yourself in the
yes,
situation
yeah, and
that's gonna
I
suck
was
the
one of
life out of
these,
you.
and I'll say this, and I was actually having this conversation with a younger person the other day, and she was talking about things, and I told her, I said, you know why you feel like that? Because you're a fixer. I said, and let me tell you something. From a 45-year-old to a 25-year-old, if this will not hit you now, you're going to continue to try to want to fix things for everybody. So because that's how you are. And I know this because I'm a fixer.
Mhm.
Somebody has something wrong, I bear that weight
Mhm.
until either the situation is resolved or I have helped them come up with something to help it.
Right.
Up until about 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. No, about 5 years ago, maybe a little longer. Anyway, it's I realized that I can't fix everything for everybody else. And
No.
I can't bear that weight because I mentally cannot do that.
No.
And that's what I told her. I said, and no one can tell you to stop doing that.
Right.
No one can tell you when to stop doing that.
That's something you have to.
But eventually you're going to realize that it is sucking you dry. You are handling way too much and
Mhm.
you can't.
Right.
And you will realize this
Right.
because you cannot fix everything for everybody.
Right.
And while you're trying to fix everything for everybody, you are being torn completely down.
Right.
And you can't do that.
Right.
And she had kids too. And I was like, and you'll realize you have to be strong for yourself and your kids.
Exactly.
I
It's
said,
okay
and
to be selfish sometimes
mm-hmm,
with with you.
yeah.
Mm.
And that's things that I realize now. And I think because of everything we went through, I felt like because I didn't have any control over the stuff that we went through, maybe now I could help control things for other people and fix that. And I
Mhm.
can't.
Right.
And unfortunately, the things we went through were absolutely horrible. But now they have helped me mentally and with strength also
Yeah.
to look back and be like, you know what? I survived that.
Right.
We survived that.
Right.
And I'm stronger than what I thought I was.
Exactly. You were able to help other people.
Yes.
And that to me feels like I accomplished something.
Hmm.
I didn't go through it for nothing. When I'm able to help somebody, even if it's just somebody calling in the middle of the night, hey, will you pray with me? Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, I will because I know what it feels like to be beaten up in the middle of the night.
Right. Yes.
Not
Exactly.
physically, but
No.
mentally
Yeah.
and spiritually. I know
Hmm.
what it's like to be laying in the bed and have those attacks on your mind at night.
And have no peace.
Right.
And somebody praying and taking 5 minutes with you to pray.
And I mean, you feel like you've accomplished something because you've taken it to God. You've led them in the right direction for them to find that peace. But at the same time, they 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 feel like they matter,
Yeah.
and that helps with everybody. I mean, it helps me too. I let them know that they matter,
Yes. Hmm.
and that's just showing the God in me
Hmm.
that you do matter. God loves you. You do matter.
Hmm.
I had someone call me on Messenger the other night that just wanted me to pray for her, and wound up saying, "I remember when I was little and you took me for a ride in that bumblebee car you had. And the only thing I could think of was the yellow Mustang that I had because that's the closest yellow to bumblebee that I could think of." But just she was like, "I don't know why God." She's like, "I know it was a God thing. I don't know why I felt that I had to reach out to you, but thank you for praying with me at 1 o'clock in the morning." She said, "I had so much peace last night, and I have felt peace all day today."
and to see how God puts people in our paths for a purpose.
And I prayed not with her because, I mean, she was a kid. I prayed for her even as a child because of the circumstances that she was raised in.
Mhm.
And I've seen the things that she has overcome. And I'm like, I think those prayers helped her to overcome those things and be who she is today because the hand she was dealt, she shouldn't have turned out the way she
Mhm.
did. I mean, she's made huge mistakes along the way. We all have.
Yeah. Mhm.
But when you become a mom at barely a teenager
Mhm.
and you keep your children and you raise your children and you fight every day to keep your little family together. I mean, when your own biological mother didn't even stay in the picture,
Yeah.
she didn't have that model to follow. She chose a different model.
Mhm.
And I told her, I was like, you're a curse breaker. You're a generational curse breaker. And
Yeah.
that is why God had you reach out to me because Jenny and I are too.
Mhm.
I was like, He will put in your life who He thinks that you need when you need it and for the purpose that He has planned for you. So I sort of feel like her reaching out to me was sort of opening a door for me to sort of guide her and be there for her if she has any questions or anything like that, as far as being able to change the course of the life for her kids, which will change generations after generation
Mhm.
after generation.
That's right.
So, I mean, it was just as simple as she was just have a post about just needing prayer and just lost that evening. And I didn't know exactly what was going on with her. And I just hit the care button. That's it.
Mhm.
And then she was like, hey, can I call you? And before I could even get out of the bedroom, because I was going to call her, like she was like, will you call me on here or will you here's my phone number. And I was putting my house shoes on and trying to get out of the bedroom. So I didn't wake husband up and she's already calling before I can even get out of the
Mhm.
bedroom. And I was like, yep, this is definitely God.
Yeah.
It's definitely God. And He put it on her to reach out. And that's what we do.
Mhm.
Don't matter if it's 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. If someone needs you, you you let them know that they are important enough for you to for you to miss a little bit of sleep
Mhm.
to help them. Which I
Mhm.
couldn't go to sleep anyway, and that's probably why.
Mhm.
God knew that she needed someone, so He didn't let me go to sleep
That's
until I
right.
took care of that.
Mhm.
I just didn't know that there was a reason that I couldn't go to sleep.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Well, anything else you want to talk about? Are you good for tonight?
I'm
And there
good.
we go. We're starting off the season right. We talk, 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 and come. Okay, we're done.
That's right. We'll just
Ah,
say welcome back.
yeah, some of the things in the season will change. Obviously, some things may not.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Yes.
We may be talking and then be like, "Huh, we're done. Ah,
Mhm.
see ya. It's been real. It's been nice. Bye."
Yes.
All right. Yeah, we'll wrap it up this week and hopefully be back next week. That's going to be the plan. We're going to try to get back on some kind of schedule, get things going again. But you have to stay tuned because there might be some changes heading our way like soon. And you'll definitely recognize the changes. So you all have a good week and hopefully we'll be back here next week. Goodbye.